Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Brog. This is episode number 97, and I'm coming to you live from beside a Starbucks, and I'm using their Wi-Fi connection. And I wanted to talk today about how meditation led me to flat Earth. And this may be a controversial subject for some of you. Some of you may not have ever heard of this flat Earth topic before, but there's many people out there who are growing in numbers who are convinced that the Earth is flat. And there's debate out there in the flat Earth community about whether we're under a dome, whether above the level that we live at, above high altitude, would be water. There's debate about what exactly is up and what exactly is down and what exactly is in every direction. But the gist of the flat Earth movement says that we've been lied to. NASA can't agree that Earth is a ball, it's a round spheroid, it's pear-shaped. Nobody knows the shape of the Earth, and they don't even have an agreement on what shape it is, but flat Earth just disregards all those shapes and says it's flat. Let's just stop lying. NASA is lies, it's just flat. So you might be wondering how somebody like me who meditates daily came to the conclusion in meditation that Earth is flat. And so it will take a while, but I am going to try to explain to you how meditation led me to flat Earth. So I started meditating years ago after I stopped praying to a mass murdering deity. And that's a whole other subject. I've made lots of videos about that, and we're at the blog number 97. If you want to scroll back and watch other ones, you'll see how I came to the conclusion that the God of the Bible and the God of the Quran is a mass murderer. It's an axiomatic, self-evident truth that the God of the Bible is a mass murderer, but that's a whole other subject. So there I was meditating years ago, and I started with, and I recommend this to people if you're a meditator, to try to change your perspective on things, because I find that while you're meditating, one of the goals would be to calm your mind, to calm yourself down, right? To calm your thoughts, get out of your work mode or your cognitive prefrontal cortex mode and get into a more relaxed state. That's one thing. So if you can't get out of this work, busy mode, then it's going to be hard for you to meditate. So I started meditating, and I thought, well, I'm going to try to see in meditation how far I can get away from where I was. So if you scroll back through adamjosh.com's entries, you'll find old videos of me where I'm saying that I've moved to the moon or I've moved to Mars. And I wrote songs about living on Mars, I called one song Lost Recording from Mars Colony 1. And during that time, maybe 7 years ago, I was imagining in meditation that I was on Mars. Now, this may seem a little wacky, but if you're a meditator, you may find that while you're meditating, your mind wanders. And there's various types of meditations. Some meditations encourage you to focus on your chakras, or some say focus on this or focus on that, and pull in energy from outside or take energy from within your heart, and vice versa, and all sorts of random things. There's lots of guides to meditating on YouTube. But for the sake of my story and how meditation led me to flat Earth, I'm telling you from my perspective the journey that I went on. And it's going to take a bit. So I'm 5 minutes in and I'm trying to speed this up a little bit now. So I was getting farther and farther away from Earth in my meditations. I would literally try to get off the planet. So I imagined Earth as a ball, and I imagined myself leaving and going to maybe the moon or maybe to Mars. And I imagined turning around from those points of view and feeling into my environment and then looking backwards at Earth. And then that helped me at the time going through some stressful things and managing multiple businesses. And I felt like at one point I was going a little loopy through all the stress I was under. And it helped me in those times of high stress during my life to imagine, oh, look, all your problems are over there on Earth, and Earth is really small, and it's over there. And so you can sort of objectify your problems and put them outside of yourself. And I do recommend, if you're a meditator, to do that. Imagine yourself, if you don't believe Earth is flat, if you want to believe that Earth is a planet, then imagine it as a ball, and you're on another ball looking back at the ball, and the ball is far away. And you imagine yourself getting farther and farther away, right? So this is my journey and where I was at the time, years ago. So, and during this meditation, I was content to be on Mars for a long time and just meditate. In my daily meditations, I would pretend that I was on Mars and looking back at Earth, and it's like a tiny little speck off in the distance, and the problems are over there, and the problems aren't here on Mars, and on Mars there's like nothing, and there's like a rover over there, and you imagine, you get into it. So I go online and I type in like, what's on Mars right now, and I would watch NASA feeds, and I was really into like space stuff and like trying to like really flesh out my meditative space, if that makes any sense. So I got further and further away as time went on, and I started getting and reading more space books and getting further out from the solar system. And then I started getting really out there, where I was like, I would imagine myself leaving the solar system, and then I would find videos to like, again, flesh out my meditative journeys. And there's many videos on YouTube that you can find where they're exiting the universe and whatnot. So I was doing this in a meditative state and imagining that I was, my spirit body or my energy, whatever you want to call it, was literally doing that. And so there I was, continuing on this journey. And this is not a one-day event. This is not, when I talk about how meditation led me to flat Earth, this is not even something that I can put into context of like, this is a week-long event that you could do. This was, for me, it took years of meditating to get to this point. So there I was. But it all did have a climactic, like, event. It had a popping event where I can try to pin it down for you, but I was meditating and getting farther and farther away, as I was saying. And there was a point where I imagined that I was so far away that all of the solar systems and everything that I saw, other galaxies, kind of reduced into one singular point. And I looked at that and I was like in the middle of black nothingness, and I'm like, holy crap, that's the universe. I'm looking at the entire universe. And I got farther and farther away. I just kept going as far as I could. The whole purpose of this meditation was a perspective meditation, to get farther and farther away, as far as you can. And if you set your intention to go as far away as you can, this is what winds up happening. This isn't a unique journey that Adam Josh took, and you can do the same thing in meditation. So I'm getting as far away as I can. Then eventually everything reduces down to the size of a dot, and then the dot even gets fainter and fainter, and then all of a sudden I see other dots. And this kind of freaked me out, because I was like, what am I looking at? And then putting my attention on that, I realized these were other universes. So I was looking at the Omniverse. And then I saw other Omniverses. Oh my God. And then you could put your attention on looking at other other universes, and you're looking at a larger Omniverse, and then it's like a whole cluster of dots, basically. And then all of them kind of, again, if you keep journeying outwards, it reduces down to a singular point. And then there was a pop. There was a point where I popped, and it was very weird. It was like a bump in the road or something, but all of a sudden I'm looking physically down at a ball, an energy ball, and I'm in a room. I kid you not, this was my meditative journey. This all happened, I think, 2 years ago. And I was with Desiree, and she can tell you, I was describing all this stuff to her at the time. And I think it's just like when you put your attention to do something like this, to meditate and get farther and farther away, that this is the kind of adventures that you're going to get into. So there was a pop, and all of a sudden I'm in a room. And I'm in a room. Every time I went to go into meditative state, I would be instantly in this room. And I was in this room with two doors. There was a door on this side and a door on this side, and in the middle was this energy ball. The energy ball was fluctuating and like a glowing orb, and every little point on it, it was like a three-dimensional space ball. Every little point was a universe, and I was looking at the omniverse ball, like that. And I described this on Twitter during when it was happening. And then, so obviously, if you're in this room in meditative state and you're looking around and you're like, what the heck? You want to know what's outside the doors, right? So I ultimately went out both doors, and to the left, I found that when I opened the door, it was like a dark swamp type environment. And ultimately, in every direction, it was kind of like swampy and dark and murky. And over to the right on that door, when I walked out the doorway, it was a white hall. So I found this white hallway, and when I met Desiree, I was like, talking to her like, we can meet in the white space, because she was into meditation too. So we had times where we would both meditate and try to get to this space, and we had like actual conversations in meditation in that space. Came back down, and she would be like, "This is what you said. This is what you did," and we had these really epic connected moments inside the white space. And so for months, I think at a time, months in this space of meditation, I was just in this white space and room and the other hallway, and just sort of exploring them. And then I got to a spot in my meditation where I thought that this is it. This has got to be it. I'm just loopy and crazy, and this is as far as you can get. So I would like bring things from my material world into the white space and put them there, like notes to myself. This is what I should do. I started painting artwork on the walls. And then after a while, I got to the end of the hallway in my trying to get as far away as I can, and I noticed an opening in the end of the white space hallway. And in the end of the white space opening, there was this like circular opening, and I thought, okay, well, why is everything circular in here? And I'm looking, and then I see in the roof of this white space hallway, in the roof there was like an opening. And now in this meditative state, openings aren't exactly like opening a doorway, turning a door and going through it. In this meditative state that I was in, you kind of push through with your intention. And so I pushed through with my intention into this opening in the ceiling, and all of a sudden I was in a black space. So what an adventure, right? To go from the solar system to the galaxy to different solar systems to the universe to omniverse, and then the ball, and then the doorway, and everything is contained in this doorway. And I was like, am I in a spaceship? Like, what is this? And this, again, is years of meditation I'm trying to reduce for you. So there I was in the black space, and I would go back from the black space into the white space, into the black space, and then I realized it wasn't like up and down or left and right. It was just different spots, or different dimensionalities, or different frequencies, if you want to call it. And at that point, if you were to look down, I could I drew pictures and describe what I was seeing at that point, going from left to right or black to white. And then I got even further away from that, and then I noticed it was kind of like a fractal zipper. And then I noticed infinite fractal patterns. It was like a zipper in black space, and then there was a zipper. And then if you focused on the zipper, you would get into this space of you're riding the edge of the wave of the space between the zipper of black and white. And in that duality, in the space between black and white, is this white space and the room and the hallway. And so if you were to look at it from like inside the room where I was, each door would be on one side of the zipper. One side would be on like the black space, and one side would be on the white space. So then I got beyond that in my meditation, and I'm going higher and higher in meditative states. And there was a point where I popped through that, and then I'm looking backwards at everything, and I'm basically in a garage. And I'm in a garage, and I'm looking at the swirl of light that I just came from. And as I pull backwards out of the garage, I realize I'm looking at an energetic house in what I wound up calling the social commons ground. And in the social commons ground, there was different places that people had created. Like you have your own place there, I have my own place there. And I was in this garage of the creator beings house, and I went into the house and I saw the creator being, and I said, "What are you doing? You created this whole mess that people are in, and you should come in here. You deserve to come into this mess that you created." And I grabbed him in this meditative state and pulled him into his own creation. And I don't think he liked that. And you would call this entity the god of the creation of the spherical worlds, or the god of the ball creations, or the god of this reality. I pulled him into his own creation. And at that point, I told Desiree what I had done, and she was like, "What do you think's going to happen?" And I was like, "I don't know." But I was describing everything that I saw to her, and I was saying, "I think I just pulled God into his own creation." And then I kept, again, seeing that it was like a really cool spiritual commons ground. And so I kept pulling back from the social commons ground, and I found that energy kind of flows like trees. And then I saw like these really large trees, and the creations that we create and that we agree to create wind up growing either into root systems or growing up. And then if you want to individualize yourself and experience individuality in this larger, we're all one type social commons ground, then what you wind up doing is becoming like a leaf, and the leaf falls. And in that moment of being separated from the larger tree of energy, of flowing energy that we have either co-created or whatever, in those moments, you can experience individuality. And so I went through that, where I was going through the energetic tree and coming through the energetic tree and experiencing an individualization. And then I experienced in that moment, this is what it is to be separated from the oneness, and to be separated from the social commons ground. But then I thought, again, in my journey of meditation and going further away, I thought, well, what is further than that? So then I put my attention on getting further away from these, what I would call the trees of life and the social commons ground, where everybody is, and we all have our own creations, and we've all kind of just agreed on this social commons ground level to go into this creator God's ball earth creation thing over there. But we're really still here in the social commons ground. Like the whole reason that we're all here is because we're in the social commons ground. The reason that you're watching this, and the reason that I'm recording this, and the reason that we're having this conversation, that it's not just me talking to myself, is right now because we're in the social commons ground. Like, this is it. This is the social commons ground. And part of our energy, or aspect of our energy, is materialized in this third dimension. If you want to look at it like dimensions or paint scales or layers of sound, this is where we are in a certain frequency, or the spectrum of light, or the spectrum of pH scale. We're in this section or frequency. And then I started getting into D-Wave, studying D-Wave computers, and I thought, well, maybe this whole tree of life thing that I'm seeing, and maybe all that is right in that center point of a D-Wave computer, and maybe I'm accessing all knowledge, and maybe my brain is inside a D-Wave computer. And then I imagined, okay, what would be outside of this D-Wave computer? And that was really trippy, because I got my attention outside of a D-Wave computer, and I thought, well, everything that I'm just imagining is maybe inside, and the tree is maybe two D-Wave computers put side by side inside each other. I don't know what I was thinking. And then, anyway, as far as I've been able to get outside of this currently, where I'm at in meditation is I see the social commons ground. I see the different creations that we've made, like energetic trees going into root systems downward or the root system upward. I see the individualization that people experience going into leaves and then falling back to the ground of the social commons ground and then being recycled. And I see the co-creation and different things that people experience and want to co-create. Maybe you want to do this, maybe you want to do that, maybe I want to help you, maybe we agree on some certain levels to construct a reality or an archetypal reality. Maybe a lot of us have agreed to go into this one religion, god of religions creation over here, or the NASA thing over there, the NASA religion. But as far as I've been able to get is getting outside of this social commons ground and getting far away into like a black space of nothingness where I surround myself in my own energy, and I can kind of polish the inside of the energy and look at myself and experience full individualization of a full, just myself and my own energy. And usually what I see is a Jean Vier style painting of just pure energy of like electric blue. And I would say that is my own energy. That is who I am. That cannot be created or destroyed. There's no gods that have any power over that. And beyond this mortal coil, I am still going to be that. And nobody can ever take that away from me. And that's my personal journey of where I'm at. So, and then in those moments, you think, okay, well, do I want to go back to the social commons ground? Do I want to remain here in this point of individualization? Or do I want to seek to find? Because if you set your attention to seek, then you will find. But if you set your attention in that space to stay isolated by yourself, then that's where you will stay. I'm drinking kombucha, by the way. And so, how meditation led me to Flat Earth is if you are in this place of complete individualization, and maybe you can stay there for an eon or two, and maybe you can stay there forever. When you turn around and look back from a point of individualization, you'll see the social commons ground. If you set your attention to want to socialize with other people, you will arrive at the social commons ground. That's just where we are, where we arrive. Like, there's a child in front of me, there's a mom over there, I'm beside a Starbucks, there's a mall over there. We're on the social commons ground. There's no two ways about it. We're in a social commons ground plane of existence. But when I looked at it from this state in meditation, I looked back and I just saw an infinite flat plane. And this 22 minutes into this video is where I have arrived to explain to you how meditation led me to Flat Earth. And it was like a light bulb went off in my mind, and in a meditative state, as I'm looking back at this infinite plane of creation, it just goes out forever. And energetically, we can go and create in every direction on this infinite social commons ground as far as we need to. And we can go up as like in energetic tree systems, or we can go down. And this is what you'd call the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Or maybe you could have one on a horizontal plane, and going up would be the tree of life, and going down would be the tree of no, like there's root systems. I don't know. You could meditate into this space and find it yourself. But I don't think what I see in meditation is unique unto myself. I think my own expression of my energy and my own individualization is unique unto myself. But as far as the social commons ground goes, I think that anybody can get there. And I think that more so, right now, if I focus my energy on being aware of the social commons ground, the reality is that it's right here. Like, we are right now in the social commons ground. It's all around me. And that's why people say, like, the Matrix is here around us, or like the heaven and earth, the hereafter is here, because it is here. But then we've put our attention and given our energy away to other constructs, like different religions, or like NASA's ball earth theories and pear-shaped this and pear-shaped that. But in meditation, I wound up at a place where I was looking at an infinite flat plane, and then it kind of popped when I came back into my waking state out of a meditative state, and I was like, uh-oh, what if Earth isn't a ball? What if this is an infinite plane? And then I start going on Google and typing in, like, is Earth flat? What is the shape of Earth? And that's kind of what led me, in one way, to find out that Earth was flat. Another way was that I was watching Math Powerland videos a while ago, and then maybe it was all kind of coalescing or happening at the same time, but I wound up at Flat Earth for two different reasons. One, because of Math Powerland videos, and another because of just being in a meditative state, getting as far away as I could, and then turning around and looking back at Earth, or looking back at where we are. And I realized one day just that we're on an infinite flat plane, and the social commons ground is an infinite flat plane. And that's the Brog. That's how I arrived at Flat Earth from meditation. So thanks for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe, and you can follow me on Twitter at adamjosh.com, and I meditate every day at 11:11 local time, wherever you are. We meditate at 11:11, hashtag 11:11 meditation. If you're a vegan like I am, you can look up Vegans Are Us, the one and only social community online for vegans only. We only accept vegans, and we do screen everybody, and if you're not a vegan, you are not welcome, because Vegans Are Us is the one and only social community online only for vegans. Thank you very much for watching if you watch this far. If not, you're going to have to turn around and start again. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.